Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele with my ride or die, Drew. Happy holidays, Drew. How are you today?
Happy holidays, and I'm doing fantastic. I'm having a good day so far, and just got better because now we're going to be talking about episode 11 of the challenge 38 Ride or Dies, and it's the trivia challenge episode. So I'm excited to hear what your thoughts were about this episode. We couldn't skip a week. Especially not the trivia challenge week. So I'm very excited.
Absolutely. I mean, like, obviously we could have doubled up, but I was like, I have to apologize to everybody. There was lots of storms going on in Canada. The airports, airplane, all the travel industry was completely shut down. I was stuck in Panama and unable to come and do this live with you. I had everything with me. I had my background, I had my computer, but I didn't have reliable Wi-Fi and I was on a plane actually at the same time too. So like, yes, it was definitely challenging, but I really wanted to talk about this episode. So I'm happy to be here as well with everybody that was so patient. Thank you. So we got some friends joining us. Yes, I did have a nice holiday. Yay. And what actually has been happening in Canada is on MTV.ca or whatever, MTV, the channel. We've been doing a marathon of all old the challenge. And so like, I don't know, I just watched like Cutthroat, and then I just been watching them all in sequence. And so old challenge is really good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So good. And it's like, and I'm just like, I wish that the people of these in this new era had seen some of these old seasons, because like they'll just see how much people were bringing it, like the whole like feud between Cara Maria and Laurel, and when she was with CT for a little bit, and like that whole like it was just, it's all so good. Was that Fresh Meat 2? No, that wasn't Fresh Meat 2. I can't remember now, but great.
Well, I think it also, because of this season's theme of people bringing in a lot of new players, new people that's never even seen the show, we also have to remember, who are they learning the show from? And it's the
Mhm.
people that are in this new modern era that aren't willing to take the risks, that are kind of been insulated from the very beginning of where they came in, or they're longtime vets that don't really want to go against the grain because that's not how they want to play the game, or they don't feel like they should play it in a very big manner. Like if Wes brought in somebody, maybe he would have been able to be like, this is what you want to do. You want to shake things up with this person, and then you want to do this and prey on this. Kind of like what we saw how he did with his partner in War of the Worlds 1, season 33. But you have Nelson telling Nerys not to want to take a big move. Fessel is making Mariah play his game because she doesn't know any better. And it's just like a trickle down effect of like, all right, well, this is who's teaching the new players how to play the game. And it's not as exciting as other fresh meat seasons that people are willing to play the game and get their hands dirty.
So this might be a controversial question, but do you think that the reason why it's not as dramatic, big moves are not being made, because the prize money is too big? Because back in the day, they're playing for a BMX bike or a projector or tickets to a season tickets to a hockey season, whatever. Like they were putting it all on the line for very little, splitting $50,000 between like 8 people. So do you think the fact that they're playing for $1 million, potentially $500,000 a piece, life changing amount of money, is watering down gameplay?
I think it's a mixture of a lot of different factors. I mean, we could even bring it into uh the era of the 2020s, and then the different landscape of the social media networks, and what the whole environment looks outside of the show. Whereas back then, I mean, Twitter was just kind of budding and Facebook was there, but it wasn't as big as it is now, to where anything that these players say on the show or confessionals or whatever they do gets clipped forever and gets brought back. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen players' old shows and bringing them back and having them have to relive it or have to bring it up over and over again in even newer interviews. So I think that plays a factor. I think the money definitely plays a factor in it as well. But also, like, people can now get deals outside of this. So even if they're not thinking I could win $1 million or win this big prize money, they're thinking if I stay on this show long enough, what could that get me on my Instagram? Could I get more followers? Could I get a deal with, I don't know, Maybelline or something, and get a couple of grand on that by posting a couple of pictures? So I think people, I think also now it's the idea of what reality TV can do for you, where I think back then it was a jumping off point to do something else. Like Theo Vaughn wanted to do comedy, Jamie Chung wanted to do acting, The Miz wanted to do wrestling.
Wrestling.
Darrell never saw this as a big career, but then you see Johnny Bananas, CT, Cara, and everybody's like, "Oh, I could just do this for 21 seasons. Yeah, sign me up. I'll do that and get a lump sum and be a big name on this show and have a legacy. Yeah, sign me up."
I mean, I would make the same decisions as these people, and I probably would be playing it safe because I'd be like, I would want to be called back again because if this is the way I'm making my money, like having the longevity is also really important than just having the one big win potentially. So yeah, I probably wouldn't be playing as a bold of a game if I were playing right now. But I kind of miss the old days when I'm just seeing how like messy they were. Just like what was it? Paula and Laurel were wrestling topless. Like I was like, what up? Where is this? I mean, I don't care to see them topless. I don't care, but it's just like just how more fun and a little bit more free it feels like everybody is, and like and it might be for the reasons that you've suggested, the fact that like everything's going to be clipped forever. People are a little bit more concerned about their image and what they're going to how they're going to be represented, and so that obviously is going to tone down like how they want to be presented on the show. But I miss the days when they just didn't care at all. Twitter, what? I don't have Twitter. MySpace is the only thing that I knew like back then. So yeah, it's sad. But
Also,
go ahead.
Also, one other factor is the average age of contestants on these newer seasons. Where if we look at back then, I mean, Evelyn came onto the show when she was 18, and the same with Casey Cooper. And then people were much younger. It was much more college age orientation of like, okay, we're a younger crowd and we're willing to like kiss in the hot tub and do all these things. And then if you look at the average age of rookies on this season, Chauncey is the youngest at 23, and he is youngest by far. And
Mhm.
I think when double agents, even double agents or last season 37, I mean, Casey and Amber are some of the oldest winners to win, and they're relatively new. I mean, they're relatively new to the game. They're only like 3 to 4 seasons deep into their challenge careers, yet they're well within their 30s. They're 34, I think. Kenny is in his 30s. So it's like, okay, we haven't
Yeah,
had these
Casey just,
older
I believe, turned
rookies.
35 yesterday.
Yeah, so it's the different ages as well. That's also a thing of like, as 35-year-olds, do we really want to be wrestling topless or having three-way kisses and hot tubs and getting sloshed?
I guess
Not
you guys haven't seen me on
realistically.
a good night.
Well, I'm just
Kidding,
saying on
sorta.
the challenge.
I do miss these dance intros. The whole intros were so fun in the beginning. I definitely agree. Um, there was just a bit of like a lightness. I think that, from in my opinion, that the challenge is taking itself a little bit too seriously, and I don't know if it's because Polly is
Yeah.
like calling it the fifth sport and whatever. Like, I think it needs to just go back a little bit to its roots and be a little bit less serious. But I think the amount of money makes it more serious. So it's kind of hard to figure out how to have the perfect balance in this day and
Mhm.
age. Very
I agree. And
challenging.
I also agree with what you just said of the challenges taking itself too seriously. We went from, even just back from season 29, they had different color shirts. It was bright, colorful, it was young, it was an environment that was conducive to just having like, it wasn't like the theme pushed the whole vibe of the whole show and made everybody act a certain way. Whereas this newer seasons is like spies. It has to be spies. Wear turtlenecks in confessionals and be really serious. And it's like, we don't need this. We don't need to have this. Just let the people be the people and let's have some fun.
Well, and also, Debu, to your point here, yes, I agree. Problematic people do make good TV, but they actually don't show any of the problematic things that are happening. And not that I want to see necessarily people using terrible language with each other or whatnot, but it is reality TV. And what I sign up to watch is just real people in interacting and reacting in just maybe extraordinary situations. And so the fact that they edit and they cut all the real things out, and then we get these conversations like the beginning of this episode where Nany pulls over Casey like, how you doing? It's like that was definitely the producers like, we need to have a scene here, you asking Casey about how she feels about her brother leaving. You know what I mean? Like these contrived scenes, the one that Casey did with Fessel with his name and wanting to be using his proper given name, and then hearing Devin talking with Aneesa about like, how are you and Devin and Jordan ride or die. It's like, how did you guys get here? Like, it's all these contrived scenes when there's probably some excellent things on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yes, I mean, I also miss when the challenge. Well, no, I like when it has about maybe 14, maybe, or like 13, 14 episodes, but they're only at about an hour. So I do miss when they were a little bit shorter.
I like when there's a variance. Like if the season calls for more episodes, then let it have more episodes. But if it doesn't, then let's just have it where the season makes sense and we can always up it or lower it by different variances by every other season. Because it was like I've been watching back a few seasons, and it was like 31 was 16, but 30 was like 20 episodes. So it's like, or 20 episodes. Yeah, 20 episodes. But it's like we can have a variance like we don't have to have a new mark every single season of like, it has to be 22 now. Every season has to be 22. Now it's going to be 24. Now it's like, no. Let's just have a fun season variance. Let's have it good.
So Chris here is saying that it isn't the prize money, it's the repetitive cast members. And you kind of touched a bit on the cast members being kind of boring. But I think that it's boring cast members that are coming back, right? That are kind of creating the new culture, the new style of gameplay, the new kind of show. Because I didn't mind when anybody came back in the past seasons. I was like, yes, let's see them again. Like I never really thought about it or gave it a second thought when like you see Kenny and Evan and Bananas coming back season after season after season. Like it didn't faze me. I didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? It was more about who are the new people coming onto the show, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah. I feel like they need some shakeup in some ways moving forward, and they need to reach out to other people and give maybe vets that we haven't seen in a little while a shot to come back and maybe do something different. Because I thought Brad did a pretty decent job. I mean, he hadn't been on the show for quite a while, and then they brought him back, I think, for 31. And I mean, he was crazier than ever. And you know what? Why not? I mean, he wasn't doing anything fun or exciting, but he was like the challenge dad / crazy uncle. And you know what? He was different. He was different, and it gave us something different to watch than the same old people over and over and over again that didn't really do much.
So Taboo is saying here, no repercussions for finishing last is what hurts the show. No reason to compete hard if you have an alliance. Exactly. I mean, I definitely agree with this. I think you probably do as well.
Yeah. They messed up on that one.
Just do it. Like it's always good. Always good.
Well, this is where I always thought of like they need a consultant, a challenger, a well-known challenger that can think outside the box. I always thought like Bananas would be a good one, that if they're in the room and they pitch the format to him, and then he could give the idea of like, oh, well, this would be bad because people would just do this. And if I was on the season, I would take this strategy and it would be boring because nobody's going to be worried about doing this or do it. Yeah. So it'd be interesting if they would do that, but it just seems like they are like, go with one idea and then rush it out. And then come on, guys, think about it for like a half a second more.
Right? Or I mean, they should get some consultants that can see, have a little bit of a different perspective, because one of the sayings that I always say is that you can't read the label from inside the bottle. So they're inside the bottle, the MTV, the Challenge World bottle, and they they can't see properly like how the show is being perceived. They have their own ideas. They think their ideas are great. They think it's so much fun. They have these different twists set up, but they're not actually able to really see it from a constructive perspective because they're too entrenched in the MTV world and from the inside. So maybe, hey, let's we got two consultants right here. I would love to be a consultant. I'm sure you would as well.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I would love to get the inside scoop and help out.
Yes, it'd be so good.
Maybe not tell anybody, because then if the season's bad, then people will be looking at us and it's like, no, thank you.
So there have been rumors going on about All Stars 4. So Jelly Donuts here is saying that Brandon, Derek from Cancun. Wait, Derek. Okay, I know which Derek that is. He was just on it last season, right? He went out early.
Yeah, sure is.
Jordan, regular Jordan. Okay, Jasmine, Rachel. Like Rachel.
Rachel Robinson, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sarah. Okay, I did hear about Sarah and Susie, but I heard that Sarah said that she would only do it if Susie would get the call, and then MTV said we can't tell you who's going to be cast. So she said that she declined or something like that. But maybe this is just to get some buzz around them returning. I would love to see them return because I just watched a couple of their seasons.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see them both. That'd be super fun. I want to see if they still got it. That would be awesome. And like, I could see Sarah and or Susie getting the win on an All-Star season very easily. So here to see it. Go ahead.
I like the idea that they would be on because we haven't seen them in a while, but they're not like necessarily my like top picks, and I'm not like overly enthused. I mean, I wouldn't mind Sarah coming back, but I'm not a huge Susie fan.
Ooh, why? What happened?
I'm just not. I mean, I just thought that she was a really mean girl back in the day, and I just didn't. I never was like, yeah, Susie's on the season. Let's go. I'm always just like, oh, okay. Well, if Tanya's on this one, then I don't necessarily want to watch anything that has to do with Susie with Tanya on the season as well.
Fair. I can see that as well. Well, we kind of talked around this episode, but it is trivia, episode 11, pretty much in the middle of the season. Did you enjoy the whole episode? Like, how was it for you?
I was mixed on this episode. I thought there was points where I was happy about some of the stuff that was happening. I liked a lot of the stuff that happened on the wheels because, I mean, especially with what Nelson was doing, I thought that they had a lot of funny moments that they were laughing a lot, and even TJ was laughing a lot, to where I was like, everybody's just having a good time. But at a certain point, I was like, man, this episode is kind of dragging. I felt like we could see the writing on the wall of where everything was going towards, and I don't know, it was the foreshadowing is getting to be a lot. And I kind of just want it to be a little bit more of a mystery as we're going into the episode. But after a while, I'm like, all right, I know where this is going. Let's get to there already. But I thought the daily challenge was fun to a certain extent. And then I liked the elimination was a lot of fun.
So I don't know if I'm just way older than these people on this cast, but I thought those trivia questions were probably the easiest questions that I have ever heard, ever. Even like trivia night
100%.
Going out to the bar, Trivia Pursuit, like kid trivia that like I was playing with like my niece and nephew. Like this was basic in my opinion. How'd you feel about the trivia questions, and were there any that stood out as being really, really embarrassingly
bad? These questions were, like you were saying, the easiest they've ever been. I mean, to me, I was kind of bored by it just for the how easy it was. And I don't know, I was hoping, like, in my brain, I kept on thinking, especially when the guys would get their questions wrong, I'd be like, are they throwing it because they want to help out their teammates on the other side? Kind of like with Chauncey not getting the Venus and Serena Williams question after Amber had gotten her question
Austin,
wrong.
Not Compton. Like what? Like
I was like, way too easy of an answer to the point where I was like, I feel like he got it wrong on purpose. The same with
Same.
Casey not knowing Adam and Eve. And I just was like, I don't know. I had to roll my eyes at a certain point because if Nelson is the one doing the best out of this trivia challenge, it's the easiest trivia challenge ever. Let's just put it that way.
Now, okay, I know you're a big fan of Nelly T, and I know Matthew here is also in the chat, and he's also a big fan of Nelly T. But do you think that his desire to do well in trivia made him make a terrible mistake in the fact that he should have just played, in my opinion, played dumb and like got his questions wrong to save his ride or die? Because he's complaining for most of this episode about how he hates his team, he hates his teammate, he thinks that Tori and Aneesa are snakes. So throw this comp. It's a women's elimination, like, and make those snakes go after each other and get them off your team and save your ride or die. Do you think it was a missed opportunity?
100%. I mean, looking back on it, I mean, he could have thrown this competition easily and nobody would have been any the wiser. They would have been like, oh, that's Nelly T saying something dumb. He doesn't get anything correct. And this is where I had to look back and be like, this is the point where Nelson has the best opportunity to do the best, especially if Nurys is his partner down the line close to the end. And this is what's been missing from Nelson's game, to where he is getting older. He is still one of the fastest. He still has great endurance, but it's coming to that point in his challenge career that he's going to have to add a layer to his game to get to the next level. We've seen him make it to the finals and be unable to win based off of his level of competition alone comparatively to whoever else is in the finals with him. So he's going to have to do something else to help him get to that next level. And Nurys was the one helping him with that. But for him personally, he has to add that layer that Bananas has had for quite a while now. And knowing when to throw competitions, knowing when to add that level of strategy and take the L, whether it's on purpose or if you're saying it's on purpose, but you do it on accident. It's like, if Nelson were to have just thrown that competition, he would have been able to, I mean, it wouldn't have been great, but he already doesn't trust his team at this moment
Yeah,
anyway. So now put the
interesting.
pressure on your team, help take away some of that added pressure of somebody being against you, and then you also keep you and your ride or die safe moving forward in this game for at least another episode or two. So he definitely should have. It was a missed
And nobody would have
opportunity that
questioned it.
exactly. So it would have been the perfect opportunity, but
Yes.
he's too excited. He got too excited for knowing answers that he's never known before and gotten to be that guy, but
Right?
sadly
Chris is
cost him.
saying the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen knowledge he needed to flex, which I think is very, very funny. He
I
did need to flex.
I thought that was gonna be a trick question, and they were actually gonna do the Cole and Dylan Sprouse because they were twins on the Full House as well. So I actually thought that was gonna be a trick question, and he jumped the gun saying Ashley, Mary Kate, and Ashley, but that was too smart of me, or that's too much for me to think
I
that.
mean, I didn't know that Dylan, the Sprouse twins, whatever, were on Full House.
I believe they
I
were.
might have been able to guess them though. I don't know. I
Did
think I
they?
only know Dylan is the one name that I know though. What's the other brother's name?
Cole?
Cole. I mean, I can picture them. I know what they look like. Cute,
Cole
but
was Jughead on Riverdale for a while.
oh, okay, right. I mean,
He's the
yeah,
edgy one.
I've seen the twins on separately on different things all over the place. I don't really know who's who. So Matthew says Olivia probably loses the pole wrestle to any of Aneesa, Tori, or Casey, but at least Nurys stays in the game, and Nelson would have forced the snakes to turn on each other. Yeah, I think whether Olivia loses or not, I think it would have been better for Nurys to get another chance, because I'm pretty
Oh.
disappointed that the brains team, Mariah's team, is supposed to be the brains. They didn't win trivia.
Yeah, this was a huge missed opportunity. I I I really thought that they were going to make a comeback because the way that they were down 3-1 and then came back 3-3. Um, I was thinking that this was raring to be a comeback. Devin seemed like he was the worst. He wasn't faring well in that wheel. He hated it from the very beginning. I think Mariah said that he had vertigo for a couple of days after that.
Oh God. Okay.
So
I mean, that's not good.
it was really bad. I think Nerese was the only person that really enjoyed the wheel. She talked about it on the Challenge Official podcast with Devon. But everybody else was worse for the wear after that whole situation.
How would you be on the wheel?
I'd be fine. You know what? I would
Too.
be ecstatic because I knew what they normally do is heights over water, and I hate heights. So seeing a wheel on the ground and just spinning me around, fine. I don't care. Let the blood rush to my head. As long as I'm not like 80 feet in the air holding on to two poles trying to keep myself up over water, freezing cold water. Like, yeah. No, thank you.
I don't think though that this particular trivia had the same effect for TJ to be laughing, because I thought that TJ usually laughs at the awkwardness of people falling or being scared to fall into the water. I thought that that's what he found the humor, and then maybe secondary people making silly answers. So I thought that maybe some of his cackling was a little bit contrived.
I wonder. Yeah, to me, there wasn't enough funny to do his laughing, but maybe they reused the one part where Nelson farted and they just kept replaying it over and over and over and over again. Because, like you were saying, I don't think there was enough funny to where he was dying laughing at one point, and I was like, "What is happening? Like, why is he laughing so much?"
And why was Nelson farting? Did you enjoy this element of Nelson's trivia gameplay?
I mean, if he was trying to sabotage his own team, then it would have probably worked. I mean, he farted right in the direction of Olivia. Like he gassed her. She was sitting right next to him. Like, my guy, don't do that. What are you
Like to a
doing?
girl that you're dating? Like, so, like, oh my god.
Yeah, she got crop dusted hard.
No worries, Willie. Thank you for being here. Okay, so Lexus says, did we hear that Josh confirmed that Devon was supposed to be his partner and backed out 5 days before they left? I think we knew that, right?
I heard something about it. I don't know if it was confirmed or I didn't see it was confirmed, but I had an idea of it. And good for Devon. I would have done the same thing. Hearing my partner could be Josh, I'd been like, all right, peace out. See ya.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll take my chances next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else about this episode went down? So we talked about trivia a little bit. I'm still really embarrassed by the fact that they couldn't get most of these questions correct. I thought they were really easy, really pop culture. But then they also trickled in like questions about the partners. So do you think there was more questions about their partners that they just didn't air? Because I thought that was a little bit unfair, to be honest, to get a question like that as opposed to getting a question where the answer is Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
So I did see somebody comment in the comments. I didn't hear about this, but somebody I guess heard from a podcast or somewhere. They said that trivia was originally 10 answers instead of the first to 5, which that would make a lot of sense with how many questions that they showed during the episode. That makes a lot of sense. I think that there was a lot more questions that weren't aired. I think that there was a big missed opportunity here. And I'm actually pretty upset because I thought of this idea while the trivia challenge was going. And I was like, if they would have stuck in pairs, they could have done like the newlywed game, like they did back in Battle of the Seasons 2002, where they could have asked people, how well you know your ride or die? Like you brought this person into the game. You should be able to trust them with everything. Did you trust them with the truth about you? Do they know everything about you? And I think that would have been super interesting to have done, to where people would have definitely gotten to see if they would have learned anything or not. And I think that could have been a lot more interesting than what we got was, I don't know, kindergarten trivia or 4th grade trivia on R2D2 and C3PO and Ride or Dies. That, yeah.
Is that a cartoon? Like, come on, Amber. Like, it's just what I think is just really interesting though about the fact that they had no knowledge of anything that was going on is the fact that she's an adult. Like it's not like she's super young. Like, don't you just hear some of these things just like rumbling in pop culture? Like, I don't necessarily have to have seen Star Wars to like know of C3PO and R2D2. You know what I mean? And so it's just wild to me that like what are they hearing? Like what information do they know? What are they picking up on? It's definitely not pop culture simple questions.
I mean, C3PO isn't like that wasn't super recent. So I mean, maybe if she heard like BB-8 or Skywalker or Luke or
I
something
probably
would
wouldn't
have
know
been
that, to be
different.
honest.
But C3PO is the older ones. It's also the prequels. So I don't know. I don't think Amber was trying to miss that, especially on a
No.
Women's Day. I don't think she was trying to sabotage herself there, but I understand where you're coming from. I mean, it seems basic knowledge, especially with how prevalent Star Wars is nowadays, which is every freaking where. Oh my gosh.
I've not seen any of like the new seasons at all. So or the new I guess movies. I don't know. What prequels, sequels, afterquels? Like I don't even know what they are.
They're doing everything. They're doing everything. TV shows. I tried to watch Obi-Wan. It's so slow and boring. So I just skipped it.
Haven't done it yet. But no, what we could do, we could put these players in their rankings. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Okay. So who are we starting with? Nerys? Is that who we're gonna go with start with from the beginning here? And
Yeah,
do we
we can
have
do that.
any suggestions for new tiers?
Ugh, I can't even remember. Uh um
People will remind us. I feel like I had one and I didn't write it down.
uh we can call it crop dusted. Could be one.
Okay.
Brain
Um,
fart or just fart.
no, I think crop dusted is it's a little bit less crude.
Smelly Nelly should be
Smelly
a new
Nelly.
nickname for
So wait, is stuff crop dusted suffocating in cake?
I don't know. That's not something. I mean, I think if I was suffocating in cake, I would be okay with going out that way. I don't think I want to be like suffocating in fart. Like that would be so bad. It shouldn't be that high up.
I don't know what I want to get rid of though. I love Built for Comfort still. Um, Forgotten but not gone. Should that be crop dusted?
I mean, we can do that. We can call it. We can call it that.
What are people saying? Um, Adam and Eden. Yeah, just idiotic moves. I mean, I think it's surprising Goodwill Hunting as well, Sophie. Absolutely, it's like what?
How do you like
Spinning in
them apples?
circles. How do you like exactly? How do you like them? That's could be a good tier, but I don't know if everybody would know what that.
No.
Okay, well, let's leave it as is unless we get something that really needs to change. And let's talk about Nerys a little bit. So you really enjoyed her going down into the elimination. It was a little bit of a take on a pole wrestle. She ended up going up against Amber. Why did you love this elim?
I just thought it was a really good matchup. I heard from the Challenge Official podcast that Nerys wasn't 100% healthy going down into the zone, that she said that she had a hip problem or a hip, like she hurt her hip and she hurt her groin going into the elimination. And then after round one, she hurt her forearm, which I think we all could see that she was holding her arm at the end talking to TJ. So that's not a good sign. But I just thought that this was a really good matchup, whether Nerys was 100% healthy or not. I thought that to save Nany, to then throw in Amber, and to Amber to have another just really strong physical elimination performance and get another elimination win, getting to 5-1, tying such challenge legends like Alton, Jillian, Landon, and Sylvia. I mean, she's in that group of the same 5-1, but I don't know if she's at legend status. But I'm just saying that people, if you're sleeping on Amber, don't. I mean, she came in really strong, really flexible, and she proved that she deserves to be here. And anybody that goes down to the elimination floor and there is a physical elimination, you should be worried. Don't ever underestimate. Don't ever look past Amber, because she's going to take care of business. She's going to either win or she's going to put up one hell of a fight to where you're going to be hurting. But I thought Nurys did a really great job on the season so far. She could still come back. She brought some drama. She brought some hookup mess. She was messy on the season multiple times. And I just thought that she brought a lot to the season. And I think that she should be coming back for more seasons. You could tell when she was leaving that she was really sad to go. Like, this was her opportunity. She wanted to make the most of it. I think she did make the most of it so far. And I think a lot of people were like, yeah, I could see Nurys being a person to come back for season upon season upon season and to be somebody to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she definitely made a name for herself, and I'd love to see her in more seasons. I think that this could be a new direction for her to be furthering her career in this way. And so I definitely loved what she brought to the table. I've always liked Nurys enough, like sometimes I didn't like some of the things that she did or how she reacted in like
Yeah.
X on the Beach or on Are You the One? But she was 5 years younger, 6 years younger. So, we can give a little bit of a pass there. I am curious though, about her dating Johnny again. Because
Yeah.
in my opinion, Johnny is not a great dude to date. He's quite young and he acts that way, but he's also attractive and he's able to get girls. But to each their own. She maybe be putting in some work for an ex's season. So I'm happy to see Nurys come back. I'm curious to see whether or not Nelly is going to be able to stay in the game a little bit longer, so that they would be able to come back in the game. Fingers crossed there. So let's talk about Nelson. Her ride or die. I really thought that he kind of messed up this episode. And I don't even think he realized that he messed up. So I think I'm going to put him. In stole their toys and whatever, smashed their ice cream, popped their balloon, because he doesn't even realize that he lost bigger than just him doing well in trivia. Like, he needed to have Nurys in there to be able to be a sounding board. He needed her to be like, no, this is what you need to do. Keep your head focused in the game. He gets really emotional and caught up with what is happening on his team. And I felt that Nurys was able to really get him back into like, this is how we should be thinking about things. And so I think that it was really bad for his game that she ended up leaving. So yeah, that's where I feel like I'm going to put him there, but I can be easily convinced otherwise.
No, I think that's exactly where he should be, because of losing Nurys. But not even that is the knowledge that he doesn't know, or the information that he doesn't know, where he has one foot out the door basically at this point. And then we're going into a guy's day tomorrow night, and you got to hope that your team is going to be just as dominant, because he's been on the wrong side of the vote. Well, not wrong side of the vote, because he did vote correctly the first time they went in, but he didn't know what the vote was. He had to be told by Bananas at the very last second that it was going to be Horacio. And then this episode, he had his partner voted in, and 5 out of the 8 people voted to send his own ride or die in as the main vote. So seeing Nurys leave, I know he's going to be upset, but it's like, you don't even know yet that your balloon is about to be popped even more if something bad goes wrong even tomorrow night or 2 weeks from now, where Chauncey could be gone. If they lose next week, Chauncey could be gone, and then he's going in as the main vote, and then what's going to be happening there? Or he could be going in against Chauncey, and you never know what could happen.
100%.
These eliminations are crapshoots and everything. So I think that he's doesn't even know that his ice cream is going to be hit out of his hand. It hasn't been even given to him yet, but it's not good. It's not a good look, especially the last 2 weeks where he's complaining about his team to the other team and can't trust them, but he's helping them win and kind of shooting himself in the foot at this point.
Yeah, he should have. Oh, come on, Nelson. Like, think ahead a little bit. And we hear from Nerissa in her confessional, she's being like, "Oh, as much as like I really wanted him to not do that well in trivia, I'm happy for him. He needed that win." And it's like she knows how bad it is for her to be going in, and the fact that he didn't have any sort of foresight to see that, it's just like it just must be so frustrating for Nerissa, who's a little bit more of a strategic partner, to be like, "Oh, my dummy of a partner." Like poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor Nelly T. At least she knew his nickname, right?
Oh
She got
yeah.
that. At least there's that. So who do you want to talk about next?
I mean, we could talk about Amber since we talked about Nerisse in that competition. I think Amber
Mhm.
did an incredible job. I mean, yes, she kind of got thrown in by somebody that she thought she was closer with, but I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, come on now. They were both going to save Nany. Nobody wanted to have that blowback if they didn't save Nany. So it was either going to be Mariah or Amber either way at that point once Nerisse was locked in to be the vote. So I think that Amber could have been seen as blindsided, but she went in, she took care of business. I think she has this like whirlwind of like, yes, don't mess with me. And she gets to come back with Chauncey. And Chauncey is also excited that she gets to come back. Um, Even then, though, I still feel that she's in the scapegoat era. I mean, at this point, now that Nerisse is gone, Mariah and Nany are going to look out for each other. Well, Nany was going to look out for Amber, but Mariah is never going to say Nany's name. And I think at this point, neither want to say each other's name, but it's going to be difficult regardless. I'm still thinking scapegoat, though. She's going to be able to go down there and win, I think, against either Nany or Mariah if it came down to it. But she could be the main vote next time around, or Mariah could be the next vote next time around. I don't know. If I'm Nany, though, I'm shaking in my boots about possibly going in.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult for Nani if they lose the next girls' day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know I agree with the positioning of Amber here. I don't see her having the strategic tops to be able to get out of this position. She was very. I mean, there's not really that many ways that she could have reacted, but she was like, "I would have saved Nani too," and like, she with this new format, with there's so few people to choose from, I just picture her being the scapegoat because she's the least connected. Like I know Mariah is a rookie, but like she's with Bananas and Bananas is with Nany. Like it just she's in a good position as a rookie for the fact that the people that she's kind of closest to that are vets are in the most control and have the most power. So yeah, she's a scapegoat to me as well. I don't see her. She's not really stirring the pot. I could say that maybe she could be queen for the day for the fact that she pretty much easily won that, not easily, but pretty effectively or efficiently won that elimination against Nerisse. I wasn't worried about her losing. Like I thought that she was going to win almost 100%. So maybe she could be queen for the day, but she's just in such a bad position that I can't really place her there. So I agree. Me agree. So let's talk about her ride or die, Mr. Chauncey. I think that he's also right there beside Amber. He's in a worse position, I'd say, than Amber is, because he's going to be going in for sure if they lose. So scapegoat position for him. I did a poll last week and just to see who people thought were going to be the automatic vote if they were to lose. And so, oops, wrong one. Actually, I'll just tell you the numbers. So Chauncey, out of 179 votes, he got 48% of the vote. So Chauncey is most likely to be the vote if they lose the next daily. Bananas got 6%, Nelson got 30%, and Fessel got 16%. So he got almost half the votes of people saying that if they lose, he is going to be the vote. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's the vote if Nelson is the one that's going to be going in against him. And so that's not really a good place to be in. That like we as the audience think that he's going to be the vote. It's most likely that he will be. So he's not in a great position. scapegoat. He doesn't really have any pull. He was left out of the information last zone. He's in a bad spot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if they lose, he's the only rookie guy up for grabs. They're not putting respect on Amber's name, and so they're not going to put respect on Chauncey's name. And he's already been in elimination. He has no real ties to a whole bunch of people. So unless a big wave comes in where Bananas comes over and says, "Hey, we need somebody else to be the vote, or somebody to really push hard for a Nelson or Fessel to be thrown in as the main vote," and maybe there's a way that Bananas makes a deal with Chauncey that they would save each other if they were in the draw together, kind of like what Nany did with Tori, Casey, and Aneesa in the bedroom before they did the interrogation and deliberation. She really pushed for Nerys to be the main vote, so that way she has a better shot of being safe at the end of the day, whether she pulled the safe dagger or not, which ultimately worked out for her. So I could see Bananas doing the same exact thing on the other side. He does have Devin, who seems to be working with Bananas this season. He did talk to Jordan, who is seemingly working with Bananas, and then he has Nany over there. So they could have the pool to be like, hey, don't send in Chauncey, send in Fessel, and then, or whoever, and then I'll have a shot of pulling the safe dagger and maybe Chauncey. And if I can't win it, then that stinks. But it'll give him the best odds, and maybe he can use that weight and that social ties. I mean, we did see him talking to Fessel earlier this episode as well in the living room. So maybe there's that wiggle room that they have, but I don't know. It's gonna be weird, but I hope we get to see at least some strategy if they were to lose this coming week, and get to see some strategy.
Please. I agree, DJ Charisma. Chauncey does need to go down and prove himself. I mean, he's a rookie. And like, I know that people are like, why do they need to prove themselves? It's like, well, we need to know whether we would want to work with you, like whether or not it's valuable to put all of our faith in you as a player on our team. So yeah, he has to prove himself so people can know who they're working with and whether or not he's a valuable member of the team. So yeah, it's gonna have to happen. I could see definitely that maybe Bananas will give themselves the best chance of pulling the safe dagger, but also, do you see anybody else going first? like,
Yeah.
I just feel like that he's got the dagger if he wants the dagger. It just seems like how it's going.
Well, that's the thing too, is like if you're thinking about Fessel and Nelson and they hang out with each other at the outside of the show, it's worrisome that if they're in the dagger pool, the assumption is they're going to look out for each other before they're looking out for anybody else. So that's going to be the worry part. So it's like I could see Bananas really pushing for people to help him out in this upcoming vote if they were to lose on a guy's day, and he's like, I do not want to be in a dagger pool with Fessel and Nelson. Please, somebody help me. Throw me a bone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless he goes first and he pulls a safe card, and then it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. True.
At all. So do you think that he's in a good spot behind Amber in the scapegoat position?
Perfect.
Well, let's talk then next about, let's go Mariah. Yeah, let's talk about Mariah. I mean, I really like Mariah. I like that I know we're dwindling down a little bit in numbers, and so we're getting to see more confessionals from more people. But she's like a really nice person, and I'm happy to be getting to know her a little bit. But I don't know if she's doing that much for her game. She is having some game conversations. We're seeing her talking to Amber. We're seeing her a little bit talking to, I believe it was Nany, and anyway, she's talking to people, which is great. And she's a little bit well insulated with the Nany and Bananas of it all. But she has Fessel as her like ex ride or die, or whatever you want to call them. And he's not really working to help her at all, which is like too bad he doesn't. Well, I mean, it's great that he doesn't know that her being in the game is really good for him to stay in the game. I think that that's hilarious. But he doesn't do anything to help her. So I'm just trying to, buy some time here because I don't know where I'm putting her. But is she another scapegoat? She might be another scapegoat.
Could be.
I don't really see, like, I think that she knows her position in her place. I don't think that she's suffocating in cake because she doesn't really have that much like it. Well, maybe she's suffocating Cake. Hmm,
She was gonna go in though. That's where I think is she was gonna go in if she didn't get the dagger pull.
right,
If she thought she was safe with Nany, I think she could have even thought she was safe with Amber, but she was like she made deals on the back end. She was gonna go in possibly against Nerys. She even like told Bananas what she wanted. Like, please don't let Nerys be the vote, kind of in a roundabout way saying, please let Amber be the vote.
right,
And that would give me the best shot. And that didn't happen.
brutal.
So I do think that it's pretty decent to say that she's a scapegoat, though.
All right,
This
I
was the
can,
hardest one, in my opinion.
yeah, I can accept that because we're not seeing that much from her. I like that she's not really scared to go down. I like the fact that she is starting to play the game a little bit. She's recognizing that Fessy's game isn't her game and that she's starting to play her own. And so hopefully after this elimination, she's going to maybe try to work something out. Like hopefully she'll start playing a little more strategically. But yeah, I don't really know where to put her though. I think that we know that Nany was going to save Amber. Amber was going to save Nany. So yeah, you're right. She was going to be the next person to be thrown in, which means she's likely going to be the next person that's going to be going down into the elimination,
Yeah.
either as the direct vote or as the she doesn't get saved. So yeah, she's a scapegoat to me too. What do you have to say about your guy, Fessy? Fessel?
My guy.
Your
What?
guy. Your guy.
I guess he really didn't do anything this past week. I mean, and I don't think he's really making a dent in this game in general. I mean, he was trying to get Amber to be the vote. Nobody else went along with him. And I just don't think he's in as much of control as he would like to think he is. But I would have to put him in the suffocating and cake category. I don't know. I don't think he's getting his balloon popped, or I don't think he's in the scapegoat category, but he's not doing enough, I don't think. And I think he's not like dominating this game as I feel like he thinks he is or was at even the start of last episode. And I just think he's just like kind of cruising right now.
Yeah. What I think is really indicative of Fessy is that I've gotten my mom into watching this show. She watches a lot of reality TV. So she is a casual that was brought into watching current seasons of the challenge because she knows the Big Brother cast. But she herself, my mom, is like, I can't stand Fessy. She's like, he's so selfish. Like she went on like a rant. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I recorded this rant about how much he's such a terrible partner and that he doesn't really care about anybody but himself and his game and he's so selfish. Like she went on and I'm like, have you heard about me talk about him like this before? Like, how do you have this opinion? And it's very interesting that somebody that's an older casual has this opinion about him without me being any sort of influence on how she feels about him. And that's not great. You know that but he is still well insulated because of the fact that he has Casey there that is just going to be his real ride or die. He even mentions that he's not his real ride or die is Casey. And Casey is in with the perfect woman in Nany, who's in the with the perfect guy in Bananas, which this trickle effect is allowing Fessel to be so insulated and suffocating in Cake. So I agree with your position of Fessel. He's suffocating in Cake, but I really wish that his balloon was going to be popped. I wish someone would steal his ice cream. I wish that someone would crop dust him. Like man, he's just so not enjoyable, and his messy Fessy like relationship stuff that's on halt, and so like we don't even get any of that drama. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what else do you got? Do you got anything else? Why are you here?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, who do you have next that you want to talk about?
Let's talk about his real ride or die in Casey. And I'll put her down at the bottom. Why not? Just the Casey Clark
I
furniture.
couldn't even see her. I'm like, do I need to put on glasses to find her?
Nothing was going on this week. She didn't even get her Adam and Eve question, which I'm hoping and
Was thinking
thinking
about
that
throwing the
she
bone.
threw. But yeah, nothing really going on. She doesn't have to put in too much effort. She just wants to save Nany, and anything that helps her and Nany out, she's cool with. But other than that, she's not gonna put too much on the line or say anything or do anything or blah 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 blah. So
Yeah, I mean, I know that everybody fears Casey, and she is a strong competitor. I believe she's like a contact rugby player, and so she's been athletic most of her life. And we saw that she was pretty good with the I got Cat in the Hat, the Puss in Boots physical competition last daily. But like, I haven't really seen that much to make her be so like, oh my god, Casey's the best, Casey's the best, Casey's the best. I need to see her. I need to see more. Let's see Casey go down in there a few more times. Has she ever been down there once? And it was
this
forced?
season
Ever?
in elimination,
Yeah.
yeah, she's been in eliminations.
Who did she go against? I don't remember these things.
Last season she went up against Teresa in Ringleader, I believe is the elimination that was called. She won
Do you remember how that one goes?
36. Oh no, not 36. She went against 36 in with Teresa, and that was like a reverse tug of war
Right.
situation
I mean,
last season.
see her.
Last season she didn't have to go into elimination because there was no skull twist. So she never had to go into elimination last season. And then 36 she had to go into elimination, and yeah, Kayla, where she had to dump medicine balls out of a dumpster and then go touch a button.
I mean, I just need to see more from Casey for her to be like Fessy's #1 draft pick. Like, I just haven't seen. I don't see her being the best of the best anymore. I mean, I've definitely thought that she was really good on her season of Big Brother. She was a comp beast there for sure. Not gonna take that away from her. But since she's been on the challenge, she hasn't really done that much for me. Maybe it's just this season she's faded into the background, and so all of her past accolades have just faded away with her built for comfort stature or in the season. But yeah, I agree with you right now. I don't see putting her anywhere else other than built for comfort.
It's
Nothing.
reputation at this point. It's the 5 comp wins in Big Brother. It's the past being an athlete and winning against Teresa. And yes, Willie mentions Nany. She went up against Nany, but
Oh, that doesn't count.
I put that as an asterisk. I mean, whether winner, whatever. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't, I would like to see her be tested. One season, I would like her to be on without Nany, and people aren't afraid to like test her. And if she gets last place in a daily, go directly into the elimination or whatever. Like, I would like to see her be tested more because I don't know. I wonder, depending on who's on the cast and who's going up against her in what elimination, I wonder, would she have a similar record if she were in 6 eliminations as Amber B, who had to fend and fight off every single season that she was in because everybody has been against her? Or would she be able to or would she fall earlier than Amber has in her past season because she hasn't had to be tested that way? She hasn't had to get mentally prepared because she's always felt a sense of comfort in the in the game because she's insulated so well. But
yeah, built for comfort. Just built for comfort. 100%. I don't really see her anywhere else. Who do we want to about her lady friend, Miss Nany? Is Nany built for comfort as well? Like, did she do anything this episode?
No. She made double deals. That's about it.
I mean, she insulated herself, so maybe I could put her up here. For the fact that she knew that even if she didn't pull the safe dagger, that she was going to be saved by any of the other women, other than Nerys, obviously, because Nerys would have probably saved Mariah, I would assume. but yeah, she kind of put herself in a decent position in that regard, making those deals. And nobody seems to going to be upset at her if she, like, I don't know if Mariah would be upset if she chose Amber. Like, would she? Or and would Nany care? Like, I don't even know if she'd care. She'd be able to smooth. So I don't know. I'm gonna put suffocating cake, but I could be convinced otherwise for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think this episode was kind of lackluster, but at least we got to see her strategize. She was making deals and she got a deal brought to her and then she made a deal and then she was kind of, I don't know. I feel like she got the last say. I mean, it was all consensus. Once Mariah's team lost, I felt like everybody knew who the vote was going to be, and it was going to be Nerys no matter what. But Nany did get to have that meeting in the bedroom to have that talk, and I felt like that was essentially the nail in the coffin. I felt like it was going to happen anyways, but at least when Nany kind of gave her like own thoughts, it was like, cool, we can do that. It's going to happen. We have Chauncey. Let's go, kind of thing. And it kind of worked out in that way. So yeah, she's fine. She's good.
She's suffocating in cake, or do you think she's like Sergio's saying here, stirring the pot with her double dealing?
It's not. I wouldn't say stirring the pot.
Okay.
It's if she would have went to Mariah and be the one to say, "Hey, I want to make the deal," then I think it would have been stirring the pot, kind of like what Tommy and Annalise did. At least what the edit showed. It
Mhm.
was it wasn't that though. She went to Amber and was like, "I really want to keep Amber around, so I'm going to make the deal." And then it kind of like dropped in her lap that Mariah came over and was like, let's save each other. And at that point, I'm with Nany. It put her in a tough position if she were to have pulled the safe dagger, but you can't say no. You can't be like, thanks, but no thanks, because then Mariah pulls the dagger and then it's like, well, you didn't make the deal with me and you said no to my face and I was going to be the one getting thrown in. So yeah, I don't think it's double dealing though.
It was just
I just think she's so insulated that people are coming up to her wanting to save her kind of vibe. And
right.
everybody on the other team wants to save her. It's like too many deals are being made and she doesn't have enough room. Like it's almost better that she doesn't pull the safe dagger at this point because she's like, everybody's saving me. Who
Yeah.
cares? I'm not gonna be the vote. I'm good.
Well, that's kind of like what happened last week is that she didn't want, was it last week or this week? She didn't want to have to make a decision. So like
Mhm.
she didn't have to show her cards. She didn't have to allow Mariah to feel maybe slightly upset about the fact that she chose Amber over her. So, she didn't pull the safe dagger. She made somebody else have to look like the bad guy. So, made
Yeah.
Mariah. So, yeah, she's suffocating in cake, but it's seemingly not by any of her like intentional doings. It's just kind of happenstance because she's suffocating in cake.
Yeah. 100%.
So what do you have to say about bananas?
Same place. Same place.
Where do you
He's
want
just
to put him?
I actually want to. Well, I think so. I think I want to put it Nany, Bananas, and Fessel at the end of Suffocating in Cake. So I think that's where I would like it to be because we're kind of assuming that if Fessel's team loses on a guy's day, Bananas could have the pool of the votes of possibly getting somebody else sent in. But he's in a little bit of a precarious situation depending on who's in the dagger pool and the talks and the strategy that he builds his case around. But at this moment in time, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't try to throw this trivia challenge to save Nany and keep in a better standing position with his ride or die on the other side. But as we were talked about, she's so well insulated. And I just felt like he's the same way. He doesn't have really anything to worry about. He's kind of throwing his weight around in the interrogation at one point where he was like getting on Nelson to being like, I want Nerys. And he's even like bringing up his talking voice to be like, well, who then? Like we've seen him kind of like step back a little bit. Like, I don't want to put my neck on the line. I don't want to be putting my cards out there. But in this episode, he was willing to do it to kind of put his own team and himself in a better position and kind of feeling like he's trying to drive the ship a little bit. So I think he's fine. I think he's just gonna chill and do what he is.
And the only maybe stirring the pot that he might have done a little bit was when he was having that conversation with Fessy, and he was kind of basically siding with Fessy over the fact that Mariah picked a terrible team. And I was a little bit annoyed with him for like not standing up for his girl, but I think that he was doing it to have not a common enemy, but like just to be talking down about Mariah, so he
Mhm.
can make a little bit of a closer friendship with Fessel. So that could be a little bit devil dealing, but I don't think that has really done that much this particular episode. Yeah, I can agree with him. This order here, suffocating and cake, I'm okay with that.
Nice.
Definitely. Nice is right. Are you next? Yeah, who do you got?
Let's talk about Aneesa, and we can put her at the bottom with Casey, but back one. Like, yeah. I don't. This
I
one
didn't see her
speaks for
once this
itself.
episode.
She talked a little bit, but I don't care. She's not. She. I think she answered a trivia question correct. I don't care though. I
Jordan
mean,
didn't spell her name correctly. She said it was a hard name,
yeah,
Portuguese.
yeah. I mean, I just think that she's going to be somebody that the other team is going to want to save to being sent in, and then
Yes.
everybody on her team is going to want to send her in. Yes, she's already been in, but I don't see her. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't see her doing much.
she hasn't done much for me this episode either. I agree with you here. I think that Casey has done more than she has this particular episode. Um, it doesn't say much, but I do think that she's built for comfort, and she told us this. And seemingly right now she's part of the Clark Furniture Company, because beforehand at least we could count on Aneesa being our confessional queen or whatnot, but she's just not involved in the storyline pretty much at all, unless it has to do with her being friends with Tori, with Tori's storyline with Jordan. So I don't know what's going on with Aneesa. Like, she's not really part of the season, in my opinion. And so, yeah, that would have her be built for comfort for sure. The Clark Furniture Company. She is a new employee.
I
Employee of the
almost
week.
feel like we should just keep her there until she does anything for like I'm like
Maybe we'll keep all the people in the built for comfort category. We'll keep them there until we're forced to move them out of that category.
okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, they're there, and like we can definitely debate as to like, are they still there? Yep.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I haven't seen her do anything. Give me something, Aneesa, but. Because especially watching like these past seasons where like she's involved, like she's got some sass, some attitude, some fights, some eliminations, some like, yeah, she just had some more pizzazz back in the day, and now she's built for comfort. So womp womp, boring.
I mean, even in the early 20s, I believe. I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with in eliminations, at least. I felt like she was putting up fights and bringing some spice, but not recently. I think she's been plagued by injuries in recent seasons, and
It's true.
becoming a face of the Challenge Official podcast, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. You don't want to be too spicy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, it's really dulled down her spice level for sure. So not a fan. Well, I mean, I'm always a fan. Like, I like Aneesa, but like whatever she's doing this episode or this season has been womp womp, boring. And Jordan, where are we gonna put Jordan? Jordan's kind of interesting this season because like he's doing a lot of, I think, really bad confessionals, and I just don't know why they keep on asking him to do these confessionals. At the beginning of this episode, they have him like basically go and run down through all the names of the people on each team. I'm like, why is he doing this? And then also the fact that he doesn't really see what he's doing to Tori, like it kind of bothers me that he blames Tori, being like, "Oh, she's being petty, or she's gas." Of course, she's doing this for personal reasons, and like, I don't know. how he's dealing with this situation, haven't been a fan of personally. Um, and he should have maybe tried harder to save Nerys. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But where am I going to put Jordan? Buying time once again. Is he stirring the pot? Maybe he's stirring the pot because he's pretty messy with this whole Nerys thing and not giving Tori a lot of slack at all. Um, he expects to be thrown in, and it was Tori that kind of put in a little bit of work there for him to be safe. With Devin being the one that's like coming up to him and like trying to make amends with him, and then even Tori having that conversation with him at the bar. So maybe he's suffocating in cake. Actually, let's bring him down a notch. What do you think?
I think it's either one of those two. I think this upcoming episode, looking at the previews, he's going to be definitely stirring the pot, as it looks like Tori and him are going to have a sort of a blowout. Hopefully, we get to see a lot of it, and it's actually a decent argument, especially with how the voting went down, and he seemed to take the Nerys vote from Aneesa and Tori very personal. I think what happens is that Tori and Jordan haven't really spoken to each other or seen each other or been in the same area with each other for a year and a half. And when they got into the same house, I want to say that Jordan reverted back to the same mental state that they last saw each other in, which doesn't seem to be a very good mental space.
That's true.
And I think it comes down to both have grown apart from each other and have been able to grow individually, do different stuff, and be able to have different achievements on their own. But when coming back together, it's hard to see that person who you haven't seen, in a year and a half differently. So I think it reverted back to what is the motive behind what she's doing. She's just trying to make me look bad. And I think it just gets into a vicious cycle and circle in his own head. And I mean, Tori, I could see where she's coming from. It's hard to look at somebody else that you did care about and see something different than what you have, and not being able to see how they changed over that time. I think you just get back into a bad situation, a bad mindset, and it can get toxic again. So I think that's where I see where Jordan is coming from. I do think that it's very unfair with how he's coming at Tori for a lot of what was being said. But yeah, I think that it's either going to be a cake or stirring the pot. I think maybe this upcoming episode, it's going to be more stirring the pot than this past week's episode. But
let's keep it with
I think
cake.
the level of competition that he's in, he's definitely up at the top, in my opinion, of comparatively to everybody else.
And where do you think he would fit in the suffocating and cake lineup here?
I want to say closer to the top, maybe either behind or in front of Bananas. I just think that Nany is just getting help from all different areas, where I think Jordan, if Mariah's team loses this upcoming daily, I have a feeling that Fessy and Nelson would really push hard for Jordan to be the vote. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the votes to send him in, but you could tell that Fessy was so frustrated during the deliberation and talk, when he was like, well, we didn't throw in Jordan and he was the biggest threat, but now you want to throw in a big threat of Nerys? Like, what's going on here? Where's the double talk happening? And it was a bit of a double talk, but Fessy fell for it. So
definitely he fell for it. He let it happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's one of those people that like will be like, well, fine, I'll let you have your way. But then, like, if it doesn't go a certain way, he's going to complain about it. Like, well, then just get your way, or just make your point be known, and so that people do what you'd prefer them to do, instead of like letting them have their way and then complaining about it after. It's so annoying. Okay, so we should talk then next maybe about Tori, Miss Tori making deals. Where is she gonna go? I think maybe let maybe talk myself in or out of this, but maybe she's in this pot stirring category here, for the fact that she is like getting everybody to protect Jordan. She's definitely was able to save him from being the vote last week. And then talking with him now and being like, hey, like, I still want to protect you, vouching for him, saying that he's a man of his word. I think that she's really protecting Jordan a lot, and inadvertently I think she's stirring the pot with her actions of protection of him. And then even so far as having Devin go in there and actually make amends with Jordan, insofar as pulling the dagger and saving him. And so I think that Tori's doing a little bit of pot stirring here.
I don't think anybody would agree with me, but I would make the case that she is queen for the day.
Oh,
Because let's be real, Tori is the one that is making all the decisions for her team. Everybody is going along with her decisions. She's the one in charge, and she got her biggest threat of Nurys out of the game. I don't
okay.
think she's looked at as somebody to be thrown into elimination. I don't think she's looked at as a big threat. I think she has so many friends on this show. And I also think she could win any real big elimination against anybody on her team at this point. I just think that I think just how Nelson has lost power going from pairs to now in these teams. I think the opposite happened with Tori, who could have been in a bad position being paired up with Devin, now split up. She is calling the shots. She is making deals to save her ex. She's making deals and moves to get Nurys to be thrown in and then be absolutely decimated in an elimination and then be walking out the door. Yes, Jordan is going to be very upset with her, but I mean, she's got all the power on her team. And it's not looking good for anybody else to want to do anything but her will, and it's difficult. So I'm just throwing that out there.
You sold me. I definitely I hear all your points, and you know what? Right now the season's about Tori and how Tori feels about what everybody else is doing in her life. And so I 100% could put her in queen for the day. I agree. I think that she is in a pretty decent, like she's strong, and she has experience, and I would be scared to go against Tori in an elimination. So I think that she's I can give her queen for the day. I don't think we've ever had her in this top spot before, and I think for this episode, I think I could be comfortable with having her there. So I agree with you, Drew. I've been convinced Tori Deal is not wheeling and dealing. She is queen for the day.
I'm surprised. I'm very shocked.
Well, why are you shocked? I mean, you made some good points.
I'm just shocked.
You're shocked that Tori did so well this week?
I'm surprised that you went along with it.
It's just this week, right? We can put her down near the bottom next week. So let's talk about her guy here, Devin. I don't know where to put him. I'm gonna maybe say stirring the pot because he's definitely somebody that people really think is always working deals and whatnot. Even Jordan doesn't trust him for the fact that he's the deal making guy, and he's trying to kind of show that he is a loyal ally and that he's a person of his word. And I think that he kind of made a little bit of a deal with Jordan for the fact that he did use the safe dagger to keep Jordan safe in the game. And I think that is probably stirring the pot a little bit for the fact that now he has an ally in Jordan. So I don't know, stirring the pot.
Yeah, this is difficult, especially with these two teams swapping back and forth. It's kind of difficult to especially the guys on the losing team. They don't get a lot of screen time because they absolutely can't do anything. I mean, they don't have a vote. They don't have a say. They're not in danger of going in. So it's kind of like they get a free week and they can just mosey around, not putting a big target on their back. I just don't know if he's stirring the pot at this moment. I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be stirring the pot. He could be Cake. I could see him as a scapegoat. I mean, the way he doesn't win a trivia challenge, he could be popped his balloon or thrown up on the side of the grass.
Maybe because of the fact that he got vertigo and like he was not able to do well in a mental challenge, which is where he's supposed to thrive. Yeah, maybe his ego's bruised a little bit there, and he's got the rug pulled out from underneath him. But
Yeah.
it
I mean,
wasn't really that. Who cares? Like it was a women's
yeah.
elimination, so it didn't really matter that much to him.
Yeah. The only thing because I have no idea where to put him. So I'll just say that that's a good spot for him. I think he's in a decent position on his team. And especially in this episode, he's got to worry. Like, he's got to worry about this upcoming episode and this upcoming daily because if I'm Devin, and with my elimination record, I do not want to see either Jordan or Horacio in an elimination, especially if it's going to be Pato Brawl or if it's going to be a hall brawl, any kind of brawl. I'm worried. I don't want to see either Jordan or Horacio in an elimination. If it's a puzzle, I think he's a little bit better, but the lead up to possibly going into elimination is the scare for me because I have no idea
Hmm.
what I would be getting into. I just know that I have these two strong guys eyeballing me and possibly going into elimination. So yeah, that's going to be nerve wracking. So if I'm Devin, I'm giving 110%, 150%, 210% in this elimination going in.
Definitely. Well, unless somebody can convince us otherwise, we are going to leave him at that position, stir in the pot. All right, so I guess we'll talk about Olivia. Uh, what happened? I'm like, did she do anything this episode? I think I'm gonna have to put her
No.
still in the scapegoat category. I think she's most likely going to be going in or the vote next time that side of the house wins. I know that there might be some strategy going on, so maybe she won't be the vote, but I just don't see her getting out of going into another elimination. So I'm gonna put her actually in front of Chauncey. I think that she has a little bit more pull and sway than Chauncey does, but I think that these are the next four people going out of this game. I would assume, in the scapegoat category. Maybe not
They're
ever.
definitely they're the ones in the hot seat for sure. I'd agree with
The
this.
other guy would probably be like Nelson, to be honest. Like it was two guys, two girls. So yeah, she's
Yeah.
not in a great position. I don't really have that much to say about her this episode. She didn't. She has some good confessionals, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, but nothing, not much with Olivia. Even though I really like her, she didn't bring anything this episode for me.
I would agree, and I would agree with Horacio being in the same boat, in the same goat, the goat boat.
Oh, yeah, right. He's definitely the next guy going home.
They've
um,
both been in. I could say before Mariah, maybe
right
because he's
here.
won
Yeah.
4.
Hmm.
So I just think that their number has been called, their names have been called so many times that it's kind of like at this point automatic of like, okay, if I don't win on a certain day, I'm going directly in. So
Totes agree. I mean, yeah, like, and he knows it too, and he's like, I'm not scared of going down there, and he's not. And so at this point, they're like, well, if you're not scared of going down there, you're not really making any deals. Like, we'll just put you down there, and you just keep on taking people out. So yeah, until the format changes, yeah, he's probably going to be going down each time they lose. So
yes, I
that's
agree.
everybody for this week. Well, that was fun. Well, what do you have for these points for all of us?
So good
Oh
thing
gosh.
is that you and Chris both got more points than me this past week.
Ooh.
The problem is you both scored the same amount of points this past week.
Okay.
But Chris now has only 3 players left in the main game where you have 5 and I have 6. So Chris is at a very big deficit, especially with Nerys losing Nerys furthermore. But you sadly are still in third place with 372 points. You went up 56 points from last week, which was 316 points. And Bananas and Nany is your leading scorer with 138 total points. Amber and Chauncey at 107 total points. And
Well, at
Casey
least they're moving up there a
slash
little bit. Mm-hmm.
slash Kenny is in 51 points. So, I mean, still not terrible. Not terrible points. But you're moving
Hopefully
along.
they'll continue to move forward. Mm.
Hopefully. Team Chris is in second place. He went from 400 points last week to 456 points this week. His top leading scorer is Nelson and Nerys with 165 total points, but now it's just Nelson. And we've all talked about how he's not in the best of spots. So that's going to be nerve-wracking. Fessy and Mariah are the last players that he has at 120 points. And so, I mean, we could be seeing him dip a little bit coming in the coming weeks. We're only halfway through the season, just a little over halfway, and he only has 3 players left. So we're going to have to wait and see what that's going to go on. And I'm still in first place.
Well, happy Hanukkah to you, okay? First place. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I think it's just desserts because like we thought we were sabotaging you when we were doing our original cast assessment and our draft picks, and you were so upset. And so it does make sense that you would end up having the better team in the end. So it's our own fault. We should have been kinder to you. But not as kind as I'm going to be with this game that I have. So I thought I would have loved to put you on a wheel, but I didn't have that technology to be able to do that. But I just thought that we would just do some more ride or die trivia, just to see if you know some of these ride or die duos that we were making fun of these players for not knowing. So
Okay.
let's just do the I Got You Babe duo, who are
I got you, babe duo.
mm-hmm.
Oh, are these just random not people from the challenge?
Correct.
Okay. It is Sunny, Bono, and Cher.
Correct. Ding 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 ding. What about these two Party Excellent duo?
Wayne and Garth.
Yes, you are on a roll. What about a dancing duo from the 30s?
That's a little out of my jurisdiction. The 30s dancing. It's not Abbott and Costello. That's definitely not them. Dancing duo. Judy Garland and somebody else. Henry
It
Ford.
was Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. What
Okay.
about a Sesame Street roommate situation?
Bert and Ernie.
Ooh, you are correct. What about a oh my god, I didn't write down this word. Actually, what are the names of the Jenner sisters?
The younger ones?
Mm-hmm. Jenner.
Okay, Kendall and Kylie.
Yes, you got this. What is, how about this? How many siblings do I have?
2.
I mean, it's pretty hard. I have, well, okay. The second question will be I have 2 sisters that live in this United States state, which is what? Where?
Florida?
My dad and my 2 younger sisters live in Las Vegas, and I have 4 siblings in total.
Wow.
What about my birth month? When's my birth month?
Oh. I know this. I think.
And you
Oh,
can follow it
January.
up with what's my sign, correct? Ding, ding, ding. And what's my sign?
I don't know the signs. Pisces?
No. No. I am an Aquarius, but that's
Oh,
okay.
that was my second. That would have been my second one.
What are the first name of the sisters in real life?
Tia and Tamara Mowry.
Yes, you got it. How about a DC comic duo?
Batman and Superman.
Batman and Robin might be a little bit
Oh,
more
Batman and Robin.
normal, a little bit more usual.
Yeah,
What
that is.
about this black and white funny couple?
Oh. Ricky Ricardo and Lucille Ball.
Yes, you got it. Matt wants to know if I know how many siblings you have. I actually have no idea. I'm going to guess 2.
It's 1.
1. I was close. I did not know at all. What about a cartoon cat and mouse duo?
Tom and Jerry.
Yay! What about a mystery solving duo?
A duo. Nancy Drew doesn't have anybody. Mystery Inc. has more than 2 people. The Hardy Boys.
No, it was Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Oh, that makes sense.
What about an enterprise duo?
The Winklevoss twins.
No. Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock.
Oh, Enterprise. I thought of like business. I was like, I don't know who. What?
Do I have any more? I think that is it. That is it.
Oh,
You
sweet
did
deal.
well. You would have done well in trivia. You would have. Wait, how do you spell my last name?
Francis.
Yes, you got it. You know me better than Jordan knows Aneesa. You know me better. Well, maybe not than Fessy knows Mariah, but you know me a little bit. So that was fun. Well, thanks, Drew. Did we miss anything from the episode we wanted to talk about?
I think we nailed everything.
Everything. My own question wrong? Oh, sorry. I did say Nevada. You're right, Nikki. I was I'm in Canada. I meant to say what state, and I meant to say Nevada, but then I said Nevada in the question when I was asking for the state. I think something like that. You're right. I got my own question wrong. It's because I was saying it off the top of my head, and it wasn't something that I wrote down. So yes, my siblings live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I live in Toronto, Canada. Okay. That's it. Well, what do you have going on this week? I know this is kind of holiday season, so maybe things might be different with your schedule. How are things going for you?
For now, it is just going to be the review and recap on Thursday, and on Friday, the Tiny Table Talk, and then we're supposed to talk on Saturday at some point with the power rankings on New Year's Eve, and that's all I have planned this week. So starting the next week into the new year, that's when we'll have the edited version of that power rankings that we're going to talk on Saturday, on Monday, and then I'll have an announcement for the upcoming year and what the content will look like for the upcoming year, and then the review and recap, Tiny Table Talk, and then I have brand new series coming out second week of January. So I'm very excited about it. I've been working really hard on all the stuff that I'm going to be doing for the upcoming year. I'm very excited about it. So yeah, it'll be good.
I look forward to hearing what you're going to be up to. And so thanks everybody for being here, even though it got delayed and we had a holiday, but we were back. We wanted to make sure that we got in a power ranking before tomorrow's episode, which I'm actually looking forward to watching. So we'll be back together again on Saturday to talk about tomorrow's episode. But other than that, just make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also subscribe to Drew's channel. Like this video. And And what do we want to know? What conversation do we want to have in the comments?
I don't know.
We could talk about whether or not, so it's a guys elimination. So who do we think is going to be going in if Mariah's team loses again? Like, what do we think the order is going to be? Do you think that they're going to throw in Devin directly, or are they going to, like, what are they going to do? I want to talk about what happens if Mariah loses, and maybe I'll put up another poll, because I put up a poll if Fessel's team loses. So I'll put up one to see what happens if Mariah's team loses the next daily. Other than that, we'll see you soon. Ciao, everybody.